So we talk about sleeper hits of the 1990s, and this was sure one. There was no indication when this was produced for £3 million it would turn into the instant classic that it was. Eventually won Best Picture nominations at the Oscars and a whole bunch of BAFTAs. It's kind of a cousin of Muriel's Wedding because it was the other big wedding movie of the decade, starring a great cast and made Hugh Grant a superstar. So today we're going to be talking about the machinations of Four Weddings and a Funeral. This is a 1994 British romantic comedy film directed by Mike Newell. It is the first of several films by screenwriter Richard Curtis to star Hugh Grant, and it follows the adventures of Charles, played by Grant, the circle of friends through a number of social occasions as they each encounter a romance. Andy McDowell co-stars as Charles's love interest Carrie, with Kristen Scott Thomas, James Fleet, Simon Callow, a great performance as the boisterous gay leader of the group, John Hannah, Charlotte Coleman, David Bauer, Corin Redgrave, and Rowan Atkinson in supporting roles. Film made in 6 weeks. At the time, it cost under £3 million. It became an unexpected success and the highest grossing British film in history at the time, with a worldwide box office a total of $24.7 million. It received Academy Award nominations for Best Picture and Best Original Screenplay, the holy spigot for sure. Additionally, Grant won the Golden Globe for Best Actor, Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy, and the BAFTA Award for Best Actor in Leading Role. And the film won the BAFTA Awards Best Film, Best Direction, and Best Actress Supporting Role for Kristen Scott Thomas. The film's success propelled Hugh Grant to international stardom, particularly in the States, where it was a big, hit among female and gay audiences. Now, this was is considered, again, one of the greatest British movies of all time. In 1999, it would rank 23rd on the top 100 list for the 20th century. Now, in 2016, Empire magazine ranked the 21st of their list of the 100 best British films. The 2017 poll of 150 actors, directors, writers, producers, and critics for Time Out magazine ranked it as the 74th best film ever. The plot is very basic. There's 4 weddings and a funeral of a major character, which shocked the audience. Now, Curtis reunited director Newell and his surviving cast for a 25th anniversary reunion comic relief short entitled One Red Nose Day and a Wedding, which aired in the UK during Red Nose Day on 15th of March 2019. Now, on this one, on May 1st, 1993, at the wedding of Angus and Laura in Somerset, the perpetually late best man Charles, his flatmate Scarlett, his aristocratic friend Fiona, and her brother Tom, Garrett and his partner Matthew, and Charles's deaf brother David all gather. All are unmarried. Well, Garrett and his partner are pretty well married, but there's no paper. Charles forgets the rings and hastily borrows 2 from the congregation, which proved to be incongruous. At the reception, he makes a risky speech that is attractive to Carrie, an American woman who has been working in England. They spend the night together. In the morning, Carrie, who is returning to the U.S., laments to him that he may have missed a great opportunity. Now, 3 months later, at the London wedding of Bernard and Lydia, who got together at the previous wedding, Tom is the best man. Charles is excited to run into Carrie, who has returned to the UK. He is disappointed to meet Hamish, Carrie's older, wealthy Scottish fiancée. A young woman named Sarita is then attracted to David. Now, the Rowan Atkinson priest on the stand, or the rostrum, is just terrific. I don't know why Rowan Atkinson didn't get a Best Supporting Actor nomination. He's basically suffering from memory loss, and he has like a speech impediment. And he's mispronouncing the names of the bride and groom, which is comparable when Princess Diana said the wrong words at that wedding. Now, during the reception, Charles is humiliated by several ex-girlfriends. These include the distraught Henrietta, called Duckface by Fiona, and whose brother was inadvertently insulted by Charles at the first wedding. Henrietta claims Charles is a serial monogamous, fearful of a commitment. Charles retreats to an empty hotel suite and sees Carrie and Hamish depart by taxi. Charles is temporarily trapped in a room when the newlyweds stumble in to have very, very graphic sex. Carrie returns to reception, and she and Charles spend a second night together. Now, a month later, Charles receives an invitation to Carrie's wedding to Hamish. While searching for a gift on London South Bank, he runs into Carrie. Charles helps Carrie choose a wedding dress, after which she recounts her 33 sexual partners to him. Charles, who's number 32, awkwardly confesses he loves her, using the David Cassidy line, and Carrie gently rebuffs him. And he said, "You were lovely." Now, a month later, Charles and his friends attend Carrie and Hamish's wedding in Perthshire. The flamboyant Garrett tells the group to seek potential mates. Scarlett meets Chester, a Texan. Henrietta points out her new boyfriend to Charles. As Charles watches Carrie and Amish dance, Fiona, aware of Charles' unhappiness, tells him she remains single but she loves him. Charles, though sympathetic, does not reciprocate her feelings. During Amish's speech, Garrett suffers a fatal heart attack, one of the most dramatic scenes in British comedy history, even though not say it was played for laughs at the start. Now, at Garrett's funeral, Matthew recites Funeral Blues, a poem by W.H. Auden. Carrie and Charles then share a brief moment, and Charles and Tom then ponder that, despite their clique's pride in being single, Garrett and Matthew were as a married couple. They wonder whether seeking out one true love is futile. By the way, the performance of the eulogy is just heartbreaking. I can't watch it without crying. It's basically beyond words. It doesn't matter if you're gay or straight. When you lose a partner, it's devastating. Now, 10 months later, Charles's wedding day arrives. He is marrying Henrietta. While seating guests, Tom meets his distant cousin Deidre, whom he has not seen since childhood. They are smitten with each other. Scarlett and Chester are overjoyed to meet again. Now, when Carrie arrives and tells Charles she and Amish separated following a difficult marriage, Charles has an emotional crisis in the back room of the church. After David and Matthew counsel him, he decides to proceed with the wedding. When the vicar asks whether anyone present has reason why the couple should not marry, David uses sign language to say the groom has doubts and loves someone else. Charles confesses this by saying, "I do," and a furious Henrietta knocks him out of the altar, ending the ceremony. Later that day, Charles is at his flat discussing the fiasco with his friends when Carrie arrives to apologize for causing trouble. Charles again says he loves her and proposes a lifelong commitment without marriage, which Carrie accepts. As they kiss, a thunderbolt flashes across the sky. Now, in the ending with photo montage, Henrietta has married an army officer. David married Serena. Scarlett has married Chester, the Texan. Tom married Deidre. Matthew has found a new male partner. Fiona is shown with Prince Charles, and Charles and Carrie have had their first child. Now, the only negative of the movie, of course, is my least favorite actress, Annie MacDowell, who is as wooden as woodens can be. Now, screenwriter Richard Curtis' only experiences as a wedding attendee inspired 4 weddings and a funeral. According to Curtis, he began writing the script at age 34 after realizing he had attended 65 weddings in 11 years. At one wedding, he was propositioned by fellow guests, but he turned it down and forever regretted it. Accordingly, he based the original Charles and Carrie's romance on this situation. Now, it took Curtis 17 drafts to reach the final version. He also commented on director Mike Newell's influence. "I come from a school where making it funny is what matters. Mike was obsessed with keeping it real. Every character, no matter how small, has a story, not just 3 funny lines. It's a romantic film about love and friendship that swims in a sea of jokes." Now, the casting is pretty well perfect. At one time, this would have been interesting. Jean Triplehorn was originally cast as Carrie, but she had to drop out before filming when her mother died. The role was then offered to Marissa Tomei, but she turned it down because her grandfather was sick at the time. Now, Sarah Jessica Parker was also reportedly considered. Now, Andy McDowell was in London doing publicity for Groundhog Day, which she read the script, and was subsequently cast. McDowell took a 75% cut in her fee to appear, receiving only $250,000 up front, but due to the success of the film, she earned about $3 million in residuals. Now, Grant's participation hit another stumbling block. When his agent requested a $5,000 rise over his £35,000 salary, Grant was offered. The producers initially refused because of the extremely tight budget, but eventually agreed. The supporting cast members were paid £17,500 apiece. Now, Duncan Kenworthy, who had worked for Jim Henson Productions, produced it while on sabbatical from the company. Pre-production for the movie was a long process because funding was erratic, falling through in mid-92 and leading to much uncertainty. Finally, in early 93, Working Title Films stepped in to close the gap. Nonetheless, another $1.2 million was cut just before production began in the summer of 93, forcing the film to be made in just 36 days with a final budget of £2.7 million. Channel 4 Films contributed £800,000. The budget was so tight that the extras had to wear their own wedding clothes, while Rowan Atkinson appeared as a vicar at 2 of the weddings, so production wouldn't have to pay for another actor. Now, the idea of the movie, the music and the soundtrack is tremendous. Of course, Wet 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 did the cover version of the Trogs' Love Is All Around, which was a beautiful hit in 94, and it remained at number 1 UK singles charts for 15 weeks, and it was then the 9th, now 12th biggest selling single of all time in Britain. The song would later be adapted into Christmas All Around and sung by the character of Billy Mack in Richard Curtis's 2003 film Love Actually, in which Grant also stars. The soundtrack album also sold more than 750,000 units. World premiere was at Sundance and opened in March 11th in the States that year. Was quite strong. The box office receipts for the first 5 days of the film's initial release in the States so impressed the movie's distributor that he decided to spend lavishly on promotion, buying full-page ads and TV spots totaling $11 million. The movie also benefited from much free publicity because of Grant's reception in the States, where it became an instant sex symbol and undertook a successful media tour promoting the film. Producer Duncan Kenworthy stated that was the most amazing luck. That when you went on a publicity trail, he turned out to be incredibly funny and very like the character of Charles. That doesn't ever happen. The film had a wide release in April 94. Now, premiered in the UK May 11, 94. Hugh Grant's then girlfriend Elizabeth Hurley garnered much publicity for the film when she wore a black Versace safety pin dress, which became a sensation in the press. The film opened in the UK again on May 13th wide. Now on Rotten Tomatoes, the movie gets 7.9 based on 134 reviews with an overall approval rating of 92%. Roger Ebert loved the film, calling it delightful and sly, and directed with lighthearted entertainment. Now, there's a lot of pathos in the movie, and the aspect of what it means in gay cinema. The fact is, the gay couple were not your traditional beautiful gay couple you would see in the 2000s or the 2010s. They looked basically like a typical British couple, but they happened to be two gay men. Like I said, but Garrett's performance was just tremendous. Why he was not nominated for Best Supporting Actor Oscar? Because he was playing him kind of, the heart and soul of the group. And the group have really, not say nothing in common, but you wouldn't think these bunch of people would be such good friends. But the idea about friendship, there's no indication why you become friends with anybody other than the fact that it could be shared moments or shared pain or shared joy or drinking buddies. I have a whole bunch of close friends in Carleton County, but I'm not an Anglo from Carleton County. I'm an Acadian Jew from the North Shore. I mean, what do I have in common with people from down here other than drinking? But it works, eh? But Kirsten Scott Thomas gives a great performance, very subtle. She's in love with Hugh Grant's character. But there's a lot of tropes here. You're dealing with ugly women looking for love. You're looking for, men that are not, kind of jittery, looking for love. You got a deaf man looking for love. You got Hugh Grant, he's his own worst enemy. You have kind of the Carrie character by Andy McDowell, sleeps around, but she's scared of commitment. She'll sleep with someone, but she won't be committed to him, and that's why the initial connection with the Hugh Grant character fails, because she really doesn't think he's sincere. But the term lovely has a lot to do with the fact she falls in love with him because, in a way, when he says, "I think I love you," doing the Partridge Family line, she sees him as sincere. That sometimes telling someone you love them can instigate love in them. So, 4 weddings and a funeral for what it is. It's 4 stars out of 4. This and Muriel's wedding needs to be seen by any pre-wedding party, mostly women or gay men, because men don't want to say they cried at the Garrett scene at the church. Boys, that really got to me, because I never saw this at the theaters, by the way. I saw it later on video, and I'm saying to myself, this could have made more in the box office. I don't think it was promoted enough. Like, you're talking about gay cinema exploded in the 1990s. This is gay cinema, because love is all around. Love can hit you when you least expect it. But the thing is, there were still closeted. A lot of people were closeted in Britain in the 90s, because at one point in England it was illegal to be gay or do sodomy or fellatio or whatever. But it's a sad movie. It's a happy movie. It's a funny movie. It's a strange movie, and it's a real movie. And a lot of the Hugh Grant is a straw that stirs the drink of this. So if you're big fans of 4 Weddings and a Funeral, this is for you. If you like what we're doing here, we're a vintage movie podcast. Let us know what a like, comment, subscribe, or share.